Fade.
Call it.
Scene 6P, take 1.
Action.
Oh, okay.
That's not exactly what you want to see when you're filming the most important scene in your movie, but this is filmmaking. This is where art meets problem solving.
Fast-breaking developments in the coronavirus emergency in the U.S.
The film's called Lockdown because the idea, the pre-production, and the whole production of this film happened during the COVID lockdowns.
Action.
Yeah, Kevin just hit me up and was like, hey, I wrote a script. We're all just kind of sitting here in the pandemic, like, let's shoot something. And I was like, I'm there, dude. Like, that's all you gotta say.
And this was actually one of the projects that I worked on that springboarded me into leaving my full-time job at the factory and just doing film work full-time.
You agree to a project and it could be the worst experience ever, or it can be awesome. I got lucky with this one. It was very awesome.
The moment I walked in and I saw there's like 20 cars or something, and I'm like, this is a production. Wardrobe, this station for makeup.
It was a lot more than I expected. And actually being in a makeup chair and all that, I go like, oh wow, they're really putting into this short film.
It was this script that really morphed from this kind of sizzling romance to a full-fledged thriller film.
It has like a little Dawson Creek in the beginning with a little love story, and then goes whoosh, and then gets dark really quick. How it just changes and it becomes a whole different movie.
This one actually had kind of more of a character arc and a relationship that felt like it was drawn or inspired from personal experience. Not that Kevin had his house broken into and he killed anybody, but just like, just having a character realize like what's more important to them.
Come on. Come on!
Thank you for calling 911, where your safety is our priority. Please hold.
The outdoor scene is so important to the story because that's the moment where the audience fully understands that this is a comedy.
When I turned around and I realized what I saw and I shouldn't have seen it, and it was an oh shit moment.
Oh shit.
That's kind of that throttle of the line between comedy and horror that I think a lot of films would really love to capture. And this film does capture that.
Oh shit. That is my favorite line.
I love the moment of comic relief in that scene where we just hear Lux start like hawking up the biggest, nastiest loogie.
I felt like I was missing a little bit of humor in that scene. I decided to bring Conrad in and kind of dub some coughing sounds.
He goes like, all right, when you're looking in the mirror, just act disgusting. Make sure there's really good phlegm in your throat. I'm playing with my teeth in the mirror to, I'm just trying to make it as disgusting as possible.
And I think it just adds that little bit of humor that makes it fit with the rest of the film.
That scene was shot on a cold, dark trail.
Lighting a hill at dark.
We scouted the location, but we're coming in for the first time to light this thing, and we have no idea what it's gonna look like, really, until the sun goes down.
The set is probably like a city block? I don't know. It's long. 200 feet? Are those the same distance?
My biggest concern is that we weren't gonna have enough lights to film this scene, so Trevor and I did some previs with this software where we can digitally place lights and see what it's gonna look like.
And Kevin and I were looking at it, we're like, oh man, this looks beautiful. Like, this is gonna be so easy, you know? Oh, it looks great. And then we realized that there was an atmosphere turned on, and we turned that off, and it just looked like crap. Like, it just, and we're like, oh man, I think we're gonna need to bring some atmosphere in for this outdoor scene. Luckily, Kevin was like, you got it, we'll figure it out. So he rented a haze machine.
And with that haze, it allowed us to make that light travel further into the darkness of the night. It allowed our images to be a lot more impactful.
Our PA, Elle, the first thing we asked her to do was, hey, go to makeup straight away. we need you to be the dead body.
You are now mine, and I shall make you a dead body. As I modeled this sort of like corpse-looking bag over them, getting the duct tape around so that I could contour to their body a bit more and really give off the feel that like it was a dead body you were looking at.
We got to finally use Kevin's 12-foot jib, which he's had just collecting dust in his closet for like a few years.
And I thought it'd be a great establishing shot to kind of show this dark trail as our character storms off.
And we put it up and we're like, oh no, it looks fine, but like, it could just be on a tripod. Our solution was just, all right, let's just put something in the foreground just so you can see a bit of movement with it.
And so we're coming off of this tree now into the scene, and just that little bit of foreground, a little bit of movement saved the entire shot.
And voila, there you go. A little jib down movement, and you actually see the movement, and made Kevin happy, so the rest of the set was happy. If Kevin's happy, the rest of the set's happy.
Action jib relay.
Action!
This film's very perspective heavy. I wanted the camera angles to focus on how my character would see things. And something that I really love to do is start a shot with a point of view and then turn it into an over the shoulder. I think that shot is just visually jarring, and it allows me to create suspense without cutting. So as a viewer, it kind of just makes you rethink what you're looking at.
We did it again when Tyler's character is re-entering the film. We're pushing in on Conrad's character from behind, and then that turns into kind of a over-the-shoulder / like highlight of the bottle.
I had never worked on a film before where we were, smashing bottles, breaking glass. Like, it was so cool to see all the props like in real life and see how realistic it looked, not only in real life, but on camera.
I think my favorite part was actually getting hit with a bottle over my head. That was pretty cool.
I always love seeing those actors get smashed into the head with those things. I don't know, that might make me sound like a sadist.
It was kind of scary. You go like, I've never been hit with a fake candy glass. I was sitting there go like, is this gonna hurt or is it? And after getting hit in the head 3 times, go like, oh, there's nothing.
We did a take of the bat hitting a picture on the wall, and it was like, we hit it and it was like perfect, and we're like, oh, that was it, like we got it. And Kevin's like, let's do one more.
But I always like to do things at least 2 times just so you have a safety.
Just for good measure. Like, all right, yeah, we're here, we'll do one more.
And the second time, hit the picture frame, and as it was falling down, a corner of it caught the wall and it just scraped the wall. It took off some of the paint and the drywall on the way down.
That's on you, Kev.
Yeah, that wasn't very cool. It was in my parents' house, and so I had to tell them that, but they took it really well.
Sorry, Allison.
My sequence where, I walk in all slow and creeping, and then I get slit in the leg and stabbed. Filming that was a blast. And our little fight sequence with me and Jeff, where, okay, what you're gonna do is just come at me and I'll roll. And I'm trying to kind of choreograph it away. And it was action. He's just like, bam! And like knocks me out. I'm like, oh shit, okay.
But it's a fine balance, because you want to make sure both actors feel very comfortable, which we did, but you also want to make sure it seems real. That when he was hovering over me with the knife putting down to make sure that pressure was just right. And once you have that trust, it actually becomes a lot of fun.
It was nice working with someone who brought the intensity to it. And there's a lot of give and take to it.
I think the hardest part of that scene to shoot was having the fake blood capsules in my mouth. Because you have to make sure that those go right at the right time, that you don't accidentally swallow them. If you mess up the scene every single time, you gotta wipe all those off and do it again.
The makeup in the film, I think, was gonna make or break the film. If that didn't look good, it was gonna take the viewer completely out of the story. So one of the first shots we did in the film is that close-up on Roma's foot right after she stepped on glass.
Going into that, I thought it was going to be really difficult. I want to make it as realistic as possible.
And she, put all the fake blood and made it look really gory. And I don't have a stomach for it, but It looked great, and that's how I know it looked great, because I was like, oof, that looks like it hurts.
In conjunction with the glass prop that we have, I think it plays incredibly well. And that's all to Nikki and her talents.
I feel like that was some of my best work to date for any cut or injury. So I was really proud of that, and it came across the camera really nicely.
Another make or break moment in this film was our visual effect with our character getting his head snapped around.
Actually, I think the original one was Kevin wanted the head to fly off of his head, decapitates and flies out of the window. I think that was the original pitch that Kevin gave me. He was like, so how do we make that happen? We knew we wanted to do a test. Our good friend and producer, Mathew Looney, stepped in for us. And it just like looked way too robotic and stiff. And we're like, okay, so we need to have David turn around in this chair and then kind of like whip his head a little bit and then just stay there and freeze.
And we learned a lot from that. And from doing that test, it allowed the effect to be so much better in the actual film.
When I finally heard from Kevin that the movie was ready, I was just like so excited. It's like, oh my gosh, this thing that we worked so hard on 2.5 years ago is finally ready.
It was really cool to see for the first time, go like, wow, this is actually a good short film I'm looking at.
The first time I saw Lockdown just completed with sound was like really cool for me, because I've seen it so many times just over and over and over without sound. Seeing the end product really made you realize like, all right, cool, like we nailed it.
Wow, this looks bitchin', dude. It's all coming together. It looks really good.
My first watch of Lockdown, I was very impressed with the quality. This is like their passion, what they want to do, and just as much as I want to give a great performance, they want to produce a film that looks and sounds great. Now I have something that I could put on my reel and be proud to show.
Everything looks so good. It all just came together exactly the way that we talked about it, which is fantastic.
It was like a big reunion after so many things had gone down in the world. It was just a really great experience to work with everybody again.
Professionalism on the set. That's what I was so impressed with, is that process. And I forget the last shot, what was it, the jib?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so smooth. And the camera work, it was, you know, it was like a little ballet.
I just remember the last minute of it at the ending with David's character. I think I was laughing for a good like 5 to 10 minutes. It would caught me off guard.
Oh, that hurts my gut.
It was just silly. My sides were hurting by the time I left his house.
I just enjoy being in art department, working with people like Kevin who are so cool, and Trevor and Matt and Erin. You can't really do it by yourself, but the things that you get to do, I like to say that it's the weirdest job in the world, but it's also one of the funnest ones if you got the right crew, and that time we did.
I remember walking out going, God, that was fun. That was really fun. I had a really good time with these guys. It was a joyous process, and I was very happy to be part of it.
A big thanks to all the people that supported me through this project, including my parents for letting us film at their house, as well as Troy Neuenswander for filming in his backyard. Trevor Neuenswander for being my DP and editor, Olivia Breen for helping me out with the script, and the rest of my cast and crew who did a phenomenal job on this film. And I'm so proud of this project. I think it looks absolutely amazing, and that's all because of my cast and crew.